Good afternoon, welcome back to this afternoon's session. One of the focuses we've had in the last few, yesterday and today, has been very much on Britain and local, and Janet this morning was speaking about promoting Britain. This afternoon we're sort of taking, by contrast, looking at overseas, and we've got, unfortunately fortunately we've got two guests from the Department of International Trade. Lorianne Enos, we've just heard, there's been a pile-up somewhere and she's caught in a sort of a traffic situation, so it's looking unlikely she's going to make it, so unfortunately we'll probably have to skip her section of the presentation. However, we will be doing a PDF of the entire presentation, which anybody, you should all have your passes scanned and we'll be able to forward you the PDF so you'll get the key points of the presentation anyway. However, we are fortunately able to introduce Annie Bradley and Brett Harland, who are both international trade advisors at the Department of International Trade, who I'm sure are going to make up with some fantastic information. So welcome to the stage. Annie, to start with.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, and thank you for joining us today. Let's see if this is working. Oh yeah, we're away. Okay. I don't know if anybody who's heard of the Department for International Trade. Thank you, yeah. Okay, well, just briefly then, I'll just let you know, we have changed in the last year. We used to be known as the UKTI, and now we're Department for International Trade since the middle of last year, when Theresa May took the new government forward. So we're a massive organisation made up of a wonderful network of international trade specialists and companies that are people that were involved in companies who were marketing and selling overseas. So we've got lots of private sector knowledge and sector specialisms that we bring to the table when we come out and meet you. But we've got, within the Yorkshire and Humber team, we've got 20 international trade advisors, and this adds to the sector specialists within the region. We've got 4 teams within our local representation, and then we have teams nationally in the 6 regions, and we work with our commercial officers who are all based in the embassies and the consulates overseas. So we have over 2,000 employees within the Department for International Trade, all here to help you, the UK PLC, UK SMEs, find markets and opportunities and do business overseas. As I mentioned earlier, we do work with the embassies and the consulates, and we also work with partners within the wider business network. So where we don't have the knowledge or the expertise, we have partners out there in the marketplace that do. And they can be anything from the chambers to the business councils and British business centres based around the world. Okay, can you just raise your hand if you're actually exporting at the moment? Okay, so just one exporter, which means that you're all hopefully looking to begin exporting. Which is good news, and I'm sure you'll understand the reasons why exporting is important to you as a small business or a medium-sized business. Not only does it give you more customers and increase your sales, but also it raises your own profile and your brand awareness overseas. And also I think it gives you more credibility as well in your own UK market when you're seen to be an international company doing business overseas. Maybe an obvious one is the increased profitability that it can bring, and perhaps it can actually extend the product life cycle of several of your products in your portfolio. Maybe you may be working selling in a mature market in the UK, but if you find a market overseas which is quite emerging, your product begins its life cycle once again, and can yield good profits. Obviously, there's the growth. You will see, hopefully, good company growth. Innovation is quite important as well. And I know, as myself was an export sales manager for quite a few local companies, one thing that we used to enjoy was going out to a marketplace, meeting the distributors, but also understanding how they did things and why they did things sometimes differently to us. And we'd often bring knowledge back to the management team and use it to improve our own standing and our own company processes, as well as new product development, getting new product ideas. It does help become more sustainable if you do spread the risk and have markets in other countries you can work better against the fluctuations of the business economy in your own country, and balance that out with trading overseas. One thing, as an international trade advisor, which I've been doing now for about 6 years, and before that I was totally in the private sector, selling a range of things, from children's playground equipment to pallet stretch wrapping machines. So I've had experiences in quite a few different industrial markets as well as consumer markets. And one thing that really, I'm working with local companies now, well, the first thing I say to them is that you must really think about how you differentiate, what your unique selling point is, and how you stand out. What would make a company or a consumer overseas want to buy your products above and beyond a company in their own marketplace. And by achieving a USP or creating your your differentiation, initially you've got to do the research, and you can't do enough research. And these days there's so many easy ways to do research. You know, the internet is a wonderful thing, but within DIT we have our overseas commercial staff who are there to do research on your behalf. So it's important to understand how the consumer buys, how they view messages, which maybe social media platforms do they interact on, what influences do they experience in their daily lives. One of the adages that is just at the forefront of every export strategy should be research. And sometimes research can lead to you not wanting to go any further, perhaps in a particular market. So it is the only place to start, really. And like I say, I've gone on there just to mention strategy. Be strategic, have a strategy, which starts with the research. Strategy with regards to which markets first, which markets are going to bring you the best returns. And basically knowing that you are perhaps SMEs rather than larger companies, your resources are going to be stretched somewhat. So in order to capitalise on the resources that you have in-house, that's why a strategy works well, so that you can achieve success in a step-by-step approach. And choose partners carefully. Think about partners who would have the same values and share the same work ethic as you, perhaps, or portray the same image that you want to achieve for your company and for your products. Understanding cultural differences. This is something that our last speaker, Lorianne, was going to really emphasise, that you need to understand the cultural differences of the markets that you're going to be selling into. There's no one-size-fits-all when you're looking at exporting. Each market is different, and therefore needs that research in that initial phase of your strategy. Again, language as part of culture is something that you need to embrace, really, and look at your website perhaps as a starting point. And I know Brett will probably say something about that later. But also, I know when I was travelling, I do actually speak French and German, but I did also, when it was a market like Spain or Italy, that I didn't really have the language, but I would learn just 2 or 3 key phrases. And that was a real good icebreaker, and it really warmed the client to you, and they were quite flattered that you'd taken the trouble to just learn a few words of their language, and it does bode well. Logistics is a really important one, I felt, as an exporter myself. Identifying 2 or 3 really key freight forwarders who are going to be your partners, really. And they're there then to advise you on documentation that you may need for a particular consignment. And it helps with when you actually talk to your customer, if you can then converse with the logistics provider and talk about how things are going to be packaged, and how things need to be packaged for certain markets. They are like, I remember when I was exporting, and I used to always try to imagine that my freight forwarder was in the next room to me, part of my company, and have a really good relationship with them, because they are so important and can save costs if you get that relationship right too. Getting paid as well, obviously very important, and that's why you're doing business. Get to know the correct methods of payment and the ones that are going to fit your company the best. And again, talking to a good bank will ensure that you are trading under the best terms, and that you will get paid. Protect yourself when you're out there. Intellectual property is a big area that you need to understand, and make sure that you are protecting your brand and copyright, and the innovation that you're selling must be protected too. Again, there are IP professionals out there that will give you the advice that you need and the support when you're actually doing business overseas. And a personal one really is just to keep focused. Don't try to do too much too soon, and take a step-by-step approach, because the world is a big place, and you are generally small to medium-sized companies who have a limited resource. You have a good UK market, and in order to maintain the markets that you're going to be developing overseas, if you do it on a step-by-step approach, with the resource in place, also remember that you need to have the capacity as well to deliver against any new orders that are going to come in. So keep focused and try not to be distracted by opportunistic wins that may come. They are important, but do remember to be strategic and keep working towards this overall objective on your strategy. And finally, I just mentioned keep in touch, not just with international trade advisors or your partners like your logistics provider, but also with your customer. Keep dialogue open, two-way, and take their feedback. Get market information from them, because they're a good source of market intelligence, as well as a customer at the end of the day. So within the Department of International Trade in Yorkshire and the Humber, we have a good in-house team who monitor the companies that we're working with, and we take regular surveys of their experiences out there in the export marketplace. So as you can see from the chart behind, it just highlights their main challenges over the last 3 or 4 months have been website development, getting that website right and making sure it's optimised and that it's pulling in the enquiries perhaps in the countries that they're targeting, and also getting the translation right. I won't go on too much there because I know Brett will be talking more about that as he follows on. Internal financing too. We have a department called UK Export Finance, so if you've got any queries or problems with financing that you may need advice on, get in touch with your digital trade advisor or your international trade advisor, and they can help signpost you to the UKEF, who can help advise and bring in third partners there too. Okay, so other challenges as well. It's not different to the UK market. You know, finding distributors, finding customers, key contacts. This is what we're working hard to do in the UK as well as overseas. But this is where our overseas embassies and consulates come into play, because they can help you find your export contacts, your potential buyers, and the opportunities. We have something on our website, on the great.gov website, called Export Opportunities, and this is a live database of opportunities that come into each embassy on a regular basis, and they're fed onto this live database for you, just for UK companies to access, and you can search using keywords, so you can pull up your relevant sector opportunities. And if you check this maybe on a weekly, bi-weekly basis, it'll be a good way of just keeping abreast of what's out there, and quite an easy, free of charge service from DIT. Okay. Okay, so DIT, Department for International Trade, we're here to help you and support you as you look to grow overseas. Like I say, we have the live business opportunities on our great.gov website. We use our network of chamber, embassy, and third-party intermediaries out in the marketplace, overseas and in the UK. We have lots of webinars on our website covering a vast arrangement of topics and themes, and they're all accessible free of charge. We also have a great e-exporting programme, which my colleague Brett will enlighten you of shortly. And we have a programme of trade missions which run annually throughout the year. We have at the moment within Yorkshire and Humber also ERDF support, so we have the Exporting for Growth programme, which I'll tell you about in a couple of slides' time. But we also have something called the Trade Show Access Programme, which is a funded programme helping you exhibit at overseas exhibitions. So it's a list of selected trade shows overseas whereby you can receive a grant to offset the cost of the trade show, the stand and so on. And we have lots of networking and partner events, and they're all available through our Eventbrite link. So when you receive this presentation, if you want to email myself or my colleagues, we can let you have the information about the forthcoming events through DIT, Yorkshire and the Humber. Okay, that's just a quick screenshot there promoting the great.gov website. On this website there's so much information, and it's all free of charge, and it's just there for you, so please have a look. It's broken down into new to exporting, more experienced exporting topics, and a little help sites. So please have a look through there. And that's how the export opportunities page looks. Just simply tap in a keyword and it will bring up a list of opportunities within your sector. Just simply click on the link and you register automatically onto the opportunity. Okay, and as I mentioned briefly 2 slides ago, at the moment we've got the Exporting for Growth programme within Yorkshire and the Humber, which allows you to identify with your export trade advisor an export project, and we can give you around approximately £2,000 for new exporters. It's match funding, so if we talked about a project that was going to cost about £4,000, we would offset that cost with a £2,000 from the ERDF funds. And this can cover anything from just going to a market to do your own market research, or maybe going to an exhibition, maybe exhibiting at an exhibition, maybe going out to meet contacts that you've made. Maybe you want to hold an event at one of our embassies or consulates. There are lots of different ways of using the funding. It can also be used to develop your website internationally, as well as international marketing material. So a chat with your international trade advisor will really help give you some ideas and help draft up a strategy for an export development plan. Okay, just a couple of slides then, just to introduce Brett, really, talking about doing business online and selling online overseas. It's such a massive 24/7 marketplace, and there are now over 1 billion online buyers worldwide, so it's something that we can't ignore. And at least 40% of people using the internet will make a purchase. It's also important to get yourself recognised by the search engines, because at least 44% of online shoppers use the search engines to find, obviously, the companies that are looking to buy from. Okay, Brett. Can I introduce my colleague, Brett Harland, who's a digital trade advisor for Yorkshire and the Humber. He's going to take over the presentation. Thanks.
Thanks, Annie. Hi, I'm Brett Harland. I'm the International E-Commerce Advisor for Yorkshire and Humber. I'm going to just take you through the exporting programme and what it's about and what kind of services we offer to help you sell more online. So what we do, Annie's touched on some of these. We've got special terms with online marketplaces, not just your Amazon and your eBays of the world. There is others around the globe which can help you get in a market. You've got access to advisors like myself, which there's 1 or 2 in each region around the UK. We're from the private sector, and we've actually been out there, done it ourselves, so we offer that experience we can bring to you in your business to help you export more. We've got the regional grant support, which Annie touched on, which you can use to internationalise your website. We've got partners. We do a lot of workshops and webinars and trade missions and things like that, which we support all through it. I'm just going to show you a quick video.
Right now, The world's looking for UK suppliers of
food and drink,
console games,
water sports equipment,
ambitious rail construction projects in Japan,
America,
Thailand,
Brazil, Kenya.
The opportunities
for UK businesses
are enormous.
So come on.
Why not open your doors to 7 billion potential customers?
If you've got the cheese, we've got the crackers.
The demand
is out here.
Here.
Here,
you should be too.
Next slide. Okay, so what we do as e-commerce advisors, well, we help you with your market research to start with. So there's a hell of a lot of data out there currently at the moment. You can find what somebody's searching for in a particular country in keywords in search engines. So all that data is there at your fingertips. You can use it to inform what you need to be doing abroad. So we can help you do that. We can show you some tools to do that, or we can help you ask someone else to do that for you. In terms of website internationalization, there's a way that your website needs to be structured in order to be seen globally. On a .co.uk, it's just not going to cut it. You've got to get onto what's called a top-level domain, which is a .com, a .net, a .eu, or a .org. The .eu is not quite popular at the moment, but so what we do within that as well, we can look at your search engine optimization as well and help you on that. That's a bit of a grey area for a few companies. Sometimes they get a bit flummoxed and don't quite understand that, or if it's got value to their business, and sometimes they can get the wool pulled over their eyes in that respect. So we can come in and offer unbiased, free advice and really help you understand that. And is it worth it to your company or not? It might not be, actually, after having a chat and understanding exactly where you want to be and where you want to go. Payments, VAT and duties. Payments vary around the globe. In Germany, for instance, they like to do direct bank transfer when they buy something online. In some other countries, it's cash on delivery in UAE and Saudi markets, stuff like that. VAT, selling into Europe, there's a certain sort of amount of recording what you need to do yourself, and the duties into the US. It's all understanding all that side of things, so you're not going to get a hefty bill in a few years' time of doing it. We can also help on localized translations, give you some pointers. We've got companies in the region who can help you with that. And on international digital marketing, we can obviously help you do maybe some test campaigns in a market to inform you of what people are searching for, selling on social networks, Google Shopping, and then strategies to help you find influencers. Possibly your product's quite kind of socially savvy, so we can help you show you tools to find influencers, set up campaigns to obviously increase your exposure abroad. And then another side of things is the e-marketplaces. So this is a slide from our tool, which I'll show you online, which currently all these e-marketplaces, what you can see, we have memorandums of understanding with. So some of them not the usual suspects what you would see. Obviously, I think probably people in the room will know Etsy, but there's also Flipkart in India, for instance, Cdiscount in France, Prevalia in Spain, Linio and Frugo, and some different Newegg marketplaces. Newegg's the second largest marketplace out in America to Amazon, and also Rakuten in Japan, which is a very popular marketplace. So we have this tool online called the SO tool, which is selling online overseas tool, which is underneath that website, what we showed you at great.gov. And on here, you can search all those e-marketplaces. You can find out information on them, some tips, and you can apply directly through there for them to get slightly better terms than what you would if you approach them directly. So the link on there is on that slide to those. But e-marketplaces, it's all right getting listed on one of them abroad, but you need to think a little bit about does it fit with your business or your business model, and do you have the time, the capacity, the actual money to be able to put on that, and all the logistics. So we kind of come in and actually kind of test you on these, if you like, as to say, look, have you thought about all these things before going onto these e-marketplaces? Because we don't want a situation where you're a small business, you've got limited time, limited budget or time constraints, and you're ending up chasing yourself down a rabbit hole, but there's nothing at the end of it. What we want is you to grow your business and make more money. So we don't want, it's a case of kind of testing these and making sure that they're right for the business. But some of the benefits of them, an e-marketplace, instead of you translating your whole website into French or German or even localizing it for the US, they've already done it. And they've got an app out there which they do. They've got a nice responsive site. They've got a kind of lot of already engaged customers on there, which are maybe looking for your products if it's a niche marketplace around what you sell. So they can also provide you with quite valuable research into who's buying what on there as well. So they're a really good test bed to get into a foreign market with not a lot of investment. Some of these marketplaces you can list for free and only sell on commission. So they offer a really quick, fast and scalable way to get in a market and test it out, which can inform you of your market research. We've got another area of the website at great.gov where you can claim your company profile. So if you're a limited company, you can go on this website and claim your link. And what it does, it brings up a profile page like this you can fill in. So if you're talking to, say, an overseas distributor, you can use this to kind of build confidence with them and share this link with them and say, look, you know, I'm listed on a government website, this is my story, these are some of my testimonials and products and things like that. So it helps you, in all, be able to engage better with that possible distributor. This is completely free to do. All this website, all this information is there. And that's that really. So have we got any questions?